the end of the call, they very honestly told me, they were like, oh, I didn't even think you'd speak English.
Anyways, for your time once again. So we already had a call. I think it was last week, right? Just like to warm up a bit and get to know each other a bit. And today, because I was like, recalling our conversation, and then also you told me about the My Next developer, and you told me like you do not differentiate about gender, right? Like you recruit and help all genders. Like you just literally look in the skill set of the person, and then you do your job, right? But maybe just for the sake of this call, you could, like in 30 seconds, just tell once more time, what are you doing and what's your role in the company?
Sure. So, My Next Developer, it's a software development company.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a developer. However, what's equally important is getting clients in the business to give the developers work to do, right?
Yeah.
So that's my role is to have a good clientele, talk to people about what we do, get client partners on board, work at the business management, and kind of handle the relations that we can with overseas clients. That's something that I look into,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can get a lot more clientele, or a lot of people know more about My Next Developer, the community that we have, because we have a great community of developers as well.
Yeah.
As it's not just a company which does software development. No, we look into actually having a community of like-minded, empathetic, pre-vetted and trained developers, that we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much what I do, is I look into this entire other aspect other than the development. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not what I do.
And you said that you also have like clients in Europe, right? So they're very much based everywhere, right? And it's like something I sort of, so since you are a female, right? So you are based in Mumbai, right? So you're like quite far away from Europe and these countries. And I was just thinking, have you ever being treated like somehow differently because you are an Indian lady who is calling European companies in a very male dominated field, and trying to close your next lead, like to connect with people or to sell the product, right? So was there any experiences like that in times of being at
Be
my
very honest, that I feel like that's like more of a reflex that most people have had. So
Mhm.
if I get on a conversation with them, or probably even if it's the initial, getting in touch via LinkedIn or having a couple of chatting conversations, that is the first impression that anyone does have, is the fact that, like, probably they know more than I do about what I do, because they feel
Yeah.
like, like, I think I know more about what you're saying. But I mean, I'm not a developer, of course, but I clearly do know what my company does, right? Because I'm building it.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm pretty confident about the fact that, look, yeah, I don't know development. You might know it, but I do know what I do best, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that does happen a lot of times. It's a little disappointing, but I guess it's fine if they're open to have a conversation after that, then they do realize it.
Mhm.
But yeah, initially, a lot of people are like kind of condemning, or they're like, oh, they just snub you off a little bit, like, hi,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
interested.
I totally, to be honest, like I completely expected this sort of answer from you because also, my first guest that I was interviewing for my channel, I invited Natalia, and she is a very like petite blonde girl, and she's running company now with her partner. So, and they've been doing it for the last 3 years. And then we also had this sort of like a conversation when she told me that, yeah, at the very beginning people treated me as his secretarian or like his assistant because I'm like a lady, I'm like small
Huh.
looking, petite looking, and people just thought like I have no clue about what are we doing, and people assumed that she was just like scheduling calls in her co-founder, calendar. But and then she told me that I was like, oh my god, and it's kind of also gave me like some food for thought to also reflect on my day-to-day operations when really sometimes, although I'm not like a petite, I'm like 180, 1 meter 80, But still, I see that like as a female, especially in this very male-dominated world, right? Like startups, developers, VCs as well. Unfortunately, they still look at you like, oh, she must be just, someone who is doing calls or like writing
Yeah,
stuff like that. And I'm like,
absolutely.
so annoying.
Yeah. There was someone, interestingly, who, when finally I did have a conversation with them, at the end of the call, they very honestly told me, they were like, oh, I didn't even think you would speak English. I was like, come on, like in India, we do speak English. And I mean, we're well read as well. It's not like every developer post who doesn't speak English is what the notion is as well. So we
Right.
kind of did that. I was like, no, everyone in my team speaks fluent English. We train them such, right? Because if I'm talking to you in Europe, I'm sure the language would be a really bad, like
Yeah.
it could be a big deal, right? If I don't have English in the middle, I can't speak in my, native language and you speak in yours. So
Yeah.
I mean, I had all of these instances, but I
Yeah.
take
100%.
things, like, I'm
Yeah.
just like, look, okay, fine, it's fine. Let's just ignore it.
But was all these developers so on your team or I mean, not like on your team, but people who you recruit on the platform. So have you been maybe tracking some sort of like stats about gender ratio? So is it still, of course, it's probably like very much male dominated, right? But like from your portfolio, maybe a couple of words in that.
I have about, like, you're asking me the number of developers that I have that are female.
Just like, this ratio. So do you see that, okay, it's still very male dominated and like you still
Yeah, absolutely.
constantly
In fact,
recruitment?
I can't even put a ratio in mind because the number of men that I have versus the number of female that we have is genuinely a drastic difference. For example, if I have 18 people that are working in my team, from that around 16, 15 or 16 would be men and 2 or 3 would be women, because that's the drastic ratio that I have. And from that, like with just 2 of us, 1 or 2 of us are from the marketing team. Like if I speak of developers that actually makes my next develop as a team, I have like 1 or 2 female developers. That's about it.
And how big of a team, like of the MyNext developer team? So in total, it's like 16 people you said, or?
Yeah. We're about 16 to 18 people in-house, which is a mix of the developers as well as the co-founders and marketing team. Or
Yeah.
putting all of it together, that's the number that we have currently. However, we do have a community. In that community, we have over 150 developers. In that, I still have about maybe 5 to 7%, I would say, would be women in that.
Oh, but it's still like a very little
Such
number,
a small number,
unfortunately.
right? Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I absolutely agree with you. In
Yeah.
fact, even these are the people that are okay to work like part-time because they don't have the time to work. So
Mm-hmm.
we welcome all of these people, even if you have like just 4 hours in a day or like 20 hours in the week, we don't mind such people because there's always work for everyone, right? Like someone could have a requirement where they don't need some more than like 20 hours or 15 hours in a week. We can definitely get that lady a room there, right?
Yeah. But do you have let's say, because I know that my next developer is also like I think you mentioned it's like an incubator or pre-incubator company, right? So but do you offer like something special to support also female developers, or you're also not considering that like as a particular focus of your company? So you just like, okay, what matters that you're a developer, but gender is not really the case here.
So we do have an incubator, and what we say by that is it's not like we're funding people or something.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what we mean by incubator, just to clarify that. What we do is we actually believe in the fact that, be it a male or a female, if she knows or he knows what they're doing well, we will take it and make it our sole responsibility to charge them no amount of money, but train them and actually make them capable of closing or joining any company based in any parts of the world, right? So
Right.
that's what in the incubation process, there is no specific criteria. Be like any gender that you are, you can definitely come and work with us or be a part of our community. Of course, you just have to be empathetic because we really, really build on empathy. Even if you're not the best at what you do, that's fine because we can always train you. We know that we have that skill set that we can train people pretty well in our company. We're doing it for a very long time now. So what we believe is that even if you're just empathetic or you love what you do and we can have a good vibe and all of that, we're happy to have you on board. Like even if like many women developers, they're just very, shy, or because if there's another you go for man, they already feel like they probably won't succeed that interview, right?
Yeah.
That's not always the case. Like he could be a better coder, but it's not compulsory that we like him as much, because it's very important to have the person also that you understand in your company, right? It's
Yeah.
not only skill set, it's also about the person. So I feel like at least we are completely like gender neutral, because to be honest, I mean, my partners are all men. I'm just one of the founders who's a female, right? And it's equal because we're all equal in the company. So I feel that's how it should be, right?
Yeah. But like also, you know, so kind of sliding a bit to the side. So from your Minex developer to your own team, or like, you know, your perception, because as I've said, I did a bit of research, right? Like I glanced at your LinkedIn profile and stuff. And I also saw something that you read about the collaboration, that, you know, you're very much like you stand very much about collaborative thinking, and that's the only thing, right, that like can also foster change. But what do you say, like in India overall? How are things with collaboration among female founders, and just you know, maybe not like founders, but like overall, are females and
You know,
very much
initially,
open to
the
collaborate a lot?
correct. So initially, these issues were prevailing. I absolutely agree. But the fact that you didn't see too many female founders, or you didn't see women in like high positions, you probably saw them in like a basic marketing role or a secretarial role, or like a little bit more mediocre, right?
Yeah.
However, to be very honest, I am seeing a drastic change coming about in India, specifically at least. The best companies or the most successful companies here in India are run by women entrepreneurs here. So that's a commendable change that we're seeing. And the collaborative approach is really being taken like forward here. And in fact, the men are also kind of promoting women. So things are changing. So I'm hoping for like a very good change in the development sector as well. And, you know, maybe all of that will help women kind of shine better. Maybe if they get off their little, you know, cocoons of being a little
Yeah.
shy, a little scared to probably step out. I think that's out now. Like I see a better future for women, definitely.
Mm. Yeah, I'm asking because I feel like there is also such a very much how shall I say, kind of like a national touch to this, you know, and like also cultural touch to this, because I think I also touched upon that the last time when we spoke. But the thing is in Germany, you know, they also like foster and they build up all this network for females in investment world, you know, like a woman in VC and stuff like that. But I still feel like in Germany, it's not much the country about cooperation, you know, especially women here. Like if she make it, she kind of want to keep this, oh, I figured that out, you can do it yourself thing, you know. For example, if I go back to Russia, I'd say that we, I mean, okay, in Russia it's a bit different story, because like in Russia still people treat you, okay, you're a woman, you belong to the kitchen, you know, kind of thing. So,
Oh,
but
because I feel like that's something that does happen in India as well. Like, I mean, there is no drastic change. There are things that are still the same, of course, but
yeah,
this mentality does prevail in India as well. That,
yeah.
you know, you're meant for the household chores, or like you got to be in the kitchen, take care of the kids. That's the mentality here too.
Mm. But like, yeah, this change, that's very interesting. And would you say that's like in India, that's been a very recent thing, or since when do you see this change, that yes, females are way more open to, I don't know, establish a company, like to run a venture, or just to help out with a family business, or, you know, collaborate, unite with others? So do you maybe see like any very particular programs for female founders or anything that sort in India happening? Like even on
So,
the government level, I don't know.
got it. So, a lot, like, I mean, it's only been a couple of years since I'm seeing this change, to be very honest.
Mhm.
And you know what I find very interesting is probably COVID kind of helped that, because women that stayed at home as well, they had the opportunity of exploring that what they could do with their free time. And I think they happened to realize that, okay, you know, I can probably juggle things a bit more since
Mhm.
so many people are remote now. So because of that, that's one thing that really brought about change. But before that, yeah, definitely. I don't think we saw women founders. We didn't see any women in like power positions. Definitely, there weren't women out there. There were only men. Or even if they had great ideas, they would pitch it to men and they would take it ahead, right? Because when a man speaks to a man, it's like, oh, okay, that would make sense. But if the woman gives the same idea, it's like, maybe not.
Yeah.
It's like eliminated or it's like discarded.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say it's pretty recent, maybe just a couple of years that I'm seeing this change happen here in India. Before this, it was definitely not there. It was more of stay at home and look after the family and
Yeah.
you're not capable enough and all of that.
Yeah, I totally get it. But what's like for you the next step? So now you work at My Next Developer, right? So are you gonna linger there for a bit, or would you like to, I don't know, jump into another venture, or what's on the table for you, Palomi?
Uh, so honestly, like, I'm pretty much sticking around here for hopefully a very long time because it's not been very long. My next developer is only about a year and a half old. However, unofficially, before we registered the brand, it's about 2.5 years unofficially, if I may say so. But I see potential and I like what I do. I enjoy talking to people. In fact, I speak to a lot of women only communities, and there itself I try to tie up with only client partners that are women, just to kind
Let's say.
to kind of promote the fact that look, we can do what we do best. And I mean,
Amazing.
not to be sexist, but I know, like how a man understands a man better, a woman would understand a woman better, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm just in a conversation, like she's gonna totally understand what I'm trying to say, and as long as the vibe is good and we're feeling good, and we can always help another woman out there, I enjoy that. So actually, that's what I do very actively as well. Like I'm in a part of many women only communities, and I try to grow my brand as well via that, and maybe even help somebody else if they need exposure to things that I'm doing in India. I would love to connect them as well,
Mm.
to people here in India as well. So yeah, like I'm sticking around here for a while. I don't think I have anything else that I want to do. I want to kind of give this my whole time pretty much.
Amazing. But just two things on that note. So you said about, like if you talk to a female, you feel like she will definitely get a better understanding what you want to tell, right? Like the message. But what do you think? Because sometimes I also have this thought in my mind that sometimes it's just like, pure biology. That it works actually better when you have a female and a male, in a conversation, because like at the chemistry level, because like of attraction, sometimes that could be also a good point to actually win the deal. What do you
So,
think about that?
in fact, I agree with that as well because sometimes, when you're talking to a man for like all your conversations, and then he's just very impressed with the fact that, okay, wow, you know,
Yeah.
you being a female know this. Okay, I'm impressed with how you spoken, or I'm just impressed with how well you know this. I get that. That impression factor
Mm-hmm.
gets to the deal. Like, I'm not going to deny that at all.
It's not like something that you will have to exclude, right? So because this is still the fact, right? Like, I mean, female and male is just like biology thing. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, sometimes those connections are very great as well. Because
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Although I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I get offended, and this happened to me at least a couple of times. Like when, let's say, even on the team or in another corporate setting or whatever. Some people would invite me or like send me to a meeting just because I'm a female, and they saying, "Oh no, we need a female there because the person you will be speaking to, he's a man. So we need a female there." And I'm like. I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, are you kidding me? This
it's a sad reality. But I mean, it works.
it is.
Like, I know what you mean. Because initially, even I would be like, yeah, but like, what's the logic? And then gradually I understood, okay, fine. Like, I get it. It's just
Yeah,
how it,
yeah. Okay, cool. And the other thing, so you said that you're gonna stick for a bit with my next developer, and that you're also kind of very much supporting other females. But do you maybe have something on your mind, like I don't know if someone will watch this, from India or somewhere like from that part of the world? Would you say there is like a community of females you could recommend, or any sort of source you could definitely tell, okay, this is the website you should better check if you're a female founder, like coming from that region?
fair. Okay, so I don't have a specific website, but what I recommend and what I have been doing, or like on a couple of calls when I speak with like many more female founders or just people that are in the business that are looking to kind of expand, I just recommend that, there are communities on Slack that have any and every kind of community that you want to be on. For example, I want to build a product. If I'm a developer and I want to build a product, there's a community for that. Then if I want to talk to like-minded women, there's a community for that. So you name it, there is a community for people that would like to discuss or would like to know where you're coming from or what you need help with. Like, just join more communities, talk to more people that are in the same road as you or probably would get help from you. So I do that. I try to join different organizations just to be a part of more like-minded women or, help another woman out there. That's pretty much what I do. It's not specific to like a certain community, but I did a lot of hunting to figure out what works for me in the workspace that I am in. So yeah, like I would highly recommend join maximum communities, talk to maximum people. Like even on LinkedIn, if you go ahead and just search a couple of communities, there are a lot of organizations to do that as well. So always join.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love Slack. I think it just it's a really great source. And I mean, per se, actually, we connected on Slack, right? I think that was where we found each other. So yeah, if not Slack, then probably we wouldn't be sitting down and like talking about this communication and talk side of it.
I mean, it's not the only community I'm on, right? Like the community.
Yeah, of course.
I'm on many more like these, and that's where I have conversations with people and something turns out good from there. Like how you and I happen to speak about something that we commonly would like to connect on. It would never happen if it was not on Slack. Like, what were the odds that I would ever be able to have a conversation with you? So that's why I believe Slack is a great way. And there's even something called Discord. If people are interested in Discord communities as well, they can do that. And I mean, if you're a developer and you're looking to work, like, please join my community. I can definitely get you some work as well. So
yeah, amazing. So then Discord, Slack, and then whatever communities Palomi has, then I will also put them like somewhere here, like down the video, so people maybe can also join you, connect with you, and find their next developer work via your company, right? So
yeah, 100%.
Amazing. Cool. Then thank you, Palomi, so much. I think we can call it a day. And thank you for your thoughts and your observations on the ecosystem. And as I said, I will just put all the necessary links down this video, and then we'll stay in touch, and hopefully this will foster another female founders, to find their future jobs or maybe their career opportunities with you, or somehow another way, maybe on Slack.
I love the idea that you're doing, Christina, and I'm glad that you and I connected so that if anyone can get something small out of this, like it's a win for you, right? Like, great. So yeah, you're doing great, and I'm just glad we connected and this conversation happened.